Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, if Leonardo da Vinci, great inventor as well as great artist that he was, were alive today, he would certainly not live in the European Union. No. Instead, he would be sitting even now by a poolside somewhere in California, secure in the knowledge that his famous flying machines were protected by patent, and also secure in the knowledge that the money from these patents would keep rolling in for the next 20 years. On the other hand, however, anyone trying to get patent protection for an invention in Europe is in for a struggle, and what is more, an expensive struggle. For, you see, although the internal market has been a reality for some years now, there is still no single system, no one single system for awarding patents which would be valid throughout the European community. Now, it is true that there is a European Patent Office, known as the EPO. And this European Patent Office, the EPO, actually predates the internal market. In fact, last October, the EPO, which is based in Munich, by the way, celebrated its 25th anniversary. Let me tell you a little bit more about the EPO, the system which exists already, and which predated the internal market, and then I'll talk to you about what needs to be done. The EPO, the European Patent Office, is the executive arm of the European Patent Organization. Confusingly also EPO. Anyway. The European Patent Organization has 18 member states. In other words, all the 15 members of the European Union, plus Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and Monaco. Now, when it was set up, the idea was originally to streamline the process by which inventors could apply for patents. So if you're an inventor and you want to apply for a patent in the European Union, in Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and Monaco, you can actually make one patent application, just one. Instead of making one to all the 18 member states, you can make one patent application to the European Patent Office. And instead of sending the patent application in all the languages of all the member states of the EPO, you would send in your application in one of the 3 official languages, because this organization has decided voluntarily to limit the number of official languages to 3. And these 3 languages are English, French, and German. And of course you can see that the fact that one can do this centrally does represent a tremendous improvement over the previous situation where, in fact, if an inventor wanted patent protection across the European Union, he or she would have to go to each of the countries and make individual applications and in the individual languages. Okay, what happens once the application has been sent in? The EPO then carries out the essential task of vetting the application. Now, what does this involve? It involves an in-depth analysis of the invention itself to see that it really is what it claims to be. And it involves a comprehensive search through an absolutely incredible number of documents, i.e., previous patents granted in a particular area. And there are about 31 million documents which have to be gone through to ensure that nobody else has already patented something similar. Okay? So again, one can see the advantages of this vetting process being done only once. So you have one application, one vetting process instead of having to wait for all the individual countries to vet individually and of course do the same work all over again. It's the same 31 million documents which will have to be consulted, i.e. of existing patents in a given sector, in a given area. But right after the vetting process, the whole system breaks down. Because once the EPO clears the invention as being patentable, in other words, it does do what it says it's supposed to do, and secondly, nobody else has patented something like this before. At that point, the EPO cannot grant patent protection itself. No. All it can do is pass on the dossier to all the individual member states with its recommendations, of course, and then each individual member state grants patent protection according to national procedures. So this leads to very long delays. Of course, the delays have been tremendously reduced as a result of the centralized receipt of the application and centralized vetting, but the granting of the patent is not yet centralized. And this has a tremendous impact on the number of inventions that can actually be patented in the European Union, because there are all of these delays. In the United States, in Japan, you don't have that problem. You know, you've got your central patent office, you apply to it, and that's that. Whereas in the European Union, it's two steps, a centralized step, and then once again a national step. So it is no wonder that in 1995, which is the last year for which I have relevant figures, in the biotechnology sector, and I choose this because it is really the sector where most work is being done, and most innovative work, alongside computer processing and miniaturization and that kind of thing. The biotechnology sector is really one of the most active sectors for research and development at the moment. So in 1995, in the biotechnology sector, only 11 European patents were awarded, whereas in the United States, in the same year, 122 were awarded. Now, given the globalization of the economy, with companies now having to compete with each other on a global level, and with competition depending more and more on technological innovation, the issue of patents becomes an even more vital one. Clearly, Europe still has a long way to go before it can catch up with the US in the area of technological innovation, and it's not going to be able to do this until it first gets its act together as regards the awarding of patents, the main stumbling block to Europe's wiping out its backwardness vis-à-vis the United States.